Hi, I'm Gail and welcome back to lowcarbrecipe.ideas.com. Today we're going to make a low-carb asparagus and leek soup. It's getting cooler outside, and if you're like me, you like to have soups just to warm you up, and they're just so comforting. So let's get started and I'll show you how to make it. The first thing we're going to do is I've got my leek, and it's quite long, but you only really want the white part. So I'm just going to demonstrate here. We're going to cut off the root at the bottom, and there is light green coming up, and it just seems like we're wasting so much of it. But I'm just going to take approximately this much. Now, what I want you to do, leeks usually in the summertime, they are so dirty. So we're just going to take our knife and bring it almost to the end, and we're going to separate them because most of the time they're filthy. So you're going to separate them and wash them up really well, and then we'll chop them all up. So that's basically how you cut up a leek, and it's amazing how much dirt particles get in between. So give them a good scrub, and then we'll chop them up. And I already have mine chopped up, so we're going to get started with our soup. I have 2 tablespoons of butter melted in my pot already, and I've got my leeks all chopped up. So I'm going to put them in, and we're going to saute them for approximately 3 minutes. So that's been approximately 3 minutes, and I did use 1 leek. Most of it was, I used all the white and a little bit of a tint of the green of the leek, and which when I was demonstrating how to cut the leek itself. Now I have 3/4 of a pound of asparagus chopped. So I'm going to saute them for approximately a minute and stirring. Now I chopped up garlic, fresh garlic, and it's a tablespoon of fresh garlic. And now we're going to add 2 cups of chicken broth. And you need to really pay attention to the chicken broth, the carb count at the back. Now this particular one that I'm using, it's a Kirkland brand, and it's 1 carb per 1 cup, which only is 2 carbs that I'm putting into this soup. My soup is boiling, so now I'm going to put the lid on, and I'm going to cook it for approximately 10 minutes. And I'm going to lower the heat so that it's not, on high heat. We just want it to simmer and bubble at the same time. So it's been approximately 10 minutes, maybe a little bit more, and what I've done is I've cooked it until the asparagus is totally tender and soft. So I'm going to now take 1/3 of a cup of heavy cream, add to our soup, and then we need that salt and pepper to taste. And that makes the world of a difference, is getting that salt and pepper in there. So you're going to do it for taste anyway. Not exactly sure what measurements. I think you can just put it in and then you taste it and decide whether or not that's enough. But salt definitely does make the difference in this soup. So now I'm going to let that cook just briefly, and then I'm going to let it cool down enough to put in the food processor so that we can process our soup to puree it. And one thing is very, very important is do not put it in when it's super, super hot, because it could blow up on you. The lid could blow up, and I've actually done it before, so I like it to cool down because we can heat it up after. I let my soup cool down. And the reason I did that was because if you have it too hot and you use the food processor, it is a good chance with the pressure of the heat it could blow the lid off and you have soup all over. And from experience, I've done that. So I'm just warning you now. I would suggest that you let it cool down a bit before you process it into a pureed form. Now we're going to put the lid on. This is my Ninja food processor, and I'm just going to go slow just in case there's still heat in there that it could create pressure. Now that took a little bit of time to puree it because I wanted to have it a nice consistency. It's still warm, so I'm going to pour it into a bowl and we're going to taste it. So here is my low-carb asparagus leek soup. It's absolutely delicious. Now I had to add a little bit of salt. Salt makes a world of a difference in this recipe. You're just going to have to taste it and find out for yourself how much to add. Very nice. I really enjoy it. And it works out to be about 6.5 net carbs per bowl of soup, and that makes 4 servings. So if you go to lowcarbrecipe.ideas.com, check out this recipe and my other recipes. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.